Hey guys, so today we are going to be talking about the Packers' loss versus the Philadelphia Eagles. It was not a great game. Bad calling by the refs, bad throwing, bad. The defense was great, but just overall, we played terrible. First, I'm going to start on the coaching. Matt LaFleur, everyone is saying that he should be fired. I think he's a decent coach. Obviously, in a couple years, if some bad callings come and the time is to fire him, then I think we should. But I don't think right now is the time to fire him. He does have some questionable calls and some questionable timeouts. But right now, I think we keep him. Now, defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. He is amazing. Hope he stays. Hopefully, he doesn't find a head coaching job anywhere else. And I know the Packers offensive coordinator was interviewed by the Bears. You guys can take him. Our offense besides Tucker Kraft and Josh Jacobs has been terrible this year. Terrible. Jordan Love, now we're talking about Jordan Love here. Jordan Love has had some flashes, but nowhere near $55 million flashes. Okay? We are handing the ball off around like 50% of the time. And don't get me wrong, that's what we've been doing, and it's been doing decent. You're paying a guy $55 million. Let him throw. And everyone's blaming Jordan Love for what happened. And don't get me wrong, 3 interceptions is terrible, and he needs to fix those interceptions. He had no wide receivers to throw to. Now, there were a couple bright spots this season. Josh Jacobs, he's been a beast. As much as I miss Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs has been doing really, really well. And another really high part of the Packers offense this season was Tucker Kraft. He was a beast. And hopefully we re-sign him, and hopefully he is a Packer for the rest of his life. Now, on the other hand, Romeo Doubs had his second concussion in 2 months. That I don't know if he'll play football again. I assume he will, but we have to be very, very cautious about that. We haven't used Jayden Reed in this whole second half of the season, and we start to use him in the Eagles game, and he starts to do better. We should have used him all along. He's good, but he also needs to stop dropping the ball. Everyone is dropping the football. Now, Christian Watson, he's been decent when he plays. But when he plays is not a lot. He's always injured, and I think his contract is coming up not this year, but next year. I don't think the Packers will re-sign him. He's just not healthy at all, ever. And drops have been terrible. There's been terrible drops all throughout the wide receiver core, including Dontavian Wicks has had a lot, Doubs has had a lot, Reed and Watson, the only 2 guys that Jordan Love can count on to catch the ball in general is Josh Jacobs and Tucker Kraft, who are not wide receivers. O-line has been decent. I mean, they were not too good in the Eagles game, but that's because Elton Jenkins was beat up, but we have to have some depth. Now, on the defensive side, this defensive team played their hearts out. Xavier McKinney this season, he was insane. Same with Evan Williams and Javon Bullard. They were also amazing. Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper were insane. But on the defensive end in the front 7, besides Cooper and Walker, the front 7 was terrible. Gary barely got to the quarterback. Devontae Wyatt did decent, but Kenny Clark couldn't get to the quarterback. And overall, we just got beamed. We got thrown all over because Jair was injured. Who knows if they're going to cut him or not. I think they probably will. Keyshawn Nixon said he doesn't want to be there. And so that makes getting rid of Rasul Douglas look really, really stupid because now we might not have any single corner besides like Valentine, Stokes. Stokes is kind of Valentine's decent, but otherwise, our cornerback room needs a lot of improvements. Whoever is the Packers training staff needs to just go. We need to stay healthy because this cannot happen. Our team cannot be this banged up. Jordan Love got injured 3 times this season. Dobbs, Watson, and Reed got injured. And then Quay missed some time. Cooper missed some time. Jair missed a lot of time. A bunch of other players missed time, and you can't have that happening. McManus, the kicker, is decent. Just let the pressure get to him in the playoffs. And the punter, Whelan, he's really good. So let's talk about the game. First of all, helmet to helmet on the first play, and Packers clearly recovered. Although that is a bad call, you can't let that get to you. You cannot let them just score 7 points and drive down and take momentum right away from you. Although there still was a couple bad calls, you can't lose by 12. Jordan Love missed lots of passes. He was just careless with the football. And you can't do that in a playoff game. And the thing was also that we had a chance to win. Eagles were not playing their best football, but we just choked it. Just choked. And on the last Packers drive, there was a pass interference call, but still, you shouldn't have been in that situation. Now, looking into the offseason, there are lots of guys that we need. We have a lot of cap room. And if we cut Jair Alexander, we could get a lot more cap room. So guys like T. Higgins, I say the Packers need a number 1 wide receiver that can catch the ball and be Jordan Love's weapon. Just plain and simple. Such as T. Higgins. T. Higgins is available, and if we don't get him, Chris Godwin is available. Even though he's coming off of injury, we need a number 1 wide receiver, plain and simple. Also, Watson's going to be out for 12 weeks, so we need a guy to step in for Watson. Now, the line looked a little bit shaky, and Jordan Morgan was not too good, and also because he was injured basically a lot of the season. And I say we need a really good offensive lineman because Elton Jenkins and Zach Tom cannot carry the whole team. As for the defense, maybe we get a defensive lineman, but otherwise, for the defensive line, that's decent. Rashawn Gary's doing his all. He's trying to get to the quarterback, and when Rashawn Gary is the only really threat to get to the quarterback on the team, they'll probably double team him. So I say we should get, whether it's in free agency, or trading, as Josh Jacobs said, he's trying to recruit players, maybe that being Max Crosby. That's a little bit of a reach, but maybe James Pierce Jr., trade up a couple picks and get James Pierce Jr. To go opposite of Rashawn Gary, so that way that gives other people a chance to break through and get some sacks. As for cornerbacks, we need lots and lots and lots of cornerbacks, such as we can get, there's Charvarius Ward, Asante Samuel is available, but otherwise I say we need to draft a cornerback in the draft. But who knows? Also, I want to say one other thing. If this year doesn't work out, if this draft doesn't work out, we should be firing Brian Goody. We should fire Goody because if you think about it, besides Jordan Love, who's turned out to be okay, offense, we'd never draft offense in the first round, and offense was the problem. And he's still probably not going to draft offense, even if we needed it, which I say we probably have more holes on defense right now, and probably not going to really need a first-round wide receiver. Probably get somebody, but he hasn't ever drafted great in the first round. We drafted offensive lineman in the first round. He's been injured. It's just been a mess. We could have drafted Jackson Smith-Njigba, but we ended up getting Lucas Van Ness. Just a bunch of bad picks. In 2021 or 2019, we drafted Darnell Savage over A.J. Brown when we were projected to get A.J. Brown. And also, Goody just doesn't get any free agents, except for last year when we got Jacobs and McKinney, which turned out to be really good at signing. So, good idea. Maybe get some more players to sign because clearly this wasn't working. And maybe we need a running back, like a backup running back, because A.J. Dillon's probably out of here. Emmanuel Wilson's decent, but Marshawn Lloyd is not it. But anyways, guys, that's my recap for the Packers-Eagles game. Hope you guys like it. Like, subscribe, comment. Go Pack, go.